it back, bring the meaning back to their memory to retrieve the meaning, they can just look at it and retrieve it within 0.3 of a second or even 0.2 of a second or something like that. So that's one of the things that will change. Okay, what else might change? Say? Right. So the jumps become fewer jumps. Now the jumps become fewer because you're making less fixations because you are now moving from one word to another word instead of part of a word to another part of a word. There is no evidence that skilled native-speaking readers jump from one group of words to another. We used to believe that, but the evidence now shows that it's not like that. Almost every word is fixated on. And so the jump then can become from one letter. Instead of one letter to one letter, it could be from a word to a word. Or instead of from a syllable to a syllable, then you can work with a bigger unit. Okay, what other thing can change? Less regression. I've got that one already. Yep, but you're absolutely correct. Less regressions. And the size of the jumps, I guess it's related to the same answer, actually. This one, you can have fewer jumps, but you could also have fewer fixations. And I suppose, let's change it. This is a good example of a teacher being imperfect. Fewer fixations, and then you could have larger jumps. And these are really the same thing, because these two are related to each other. Good. So that's then what happens when the physical things that happen. Now you can see how those physical things will be related to knowledge which exists in the learner's brain. Now let's look at this in... Yep.
Vocabulary.
Yep.
Vocabulary.
Yep. Well, the vocabulary should be within your knowledge, because it has to be easy material.
So you make the assumption that vocabulary is understood.
It's not an assumption. If you're if you're running a speed reading course, then you must work with material which is already in the learner's knowledge. If you're working with unknown vocabulary, you can't increase reading speed easily because you're getting held up by that. So what it means is that if you want reading fluency to develop at every level of proficiency, you have to have material which has very controlled vocabulary at various levels of proficiency. Okay, now let's look at what a speed reading course might be like. Here is a typical speed reading course. The learners have a set of texts, and you've got an example from one course published by Compass, The Amazing Computer. This is a part of a very long text with many, many passages in the text. A great resource for getting... This is I think it's at the 500 word level. I think this is written at the 500 word level. So that means if your learners know 500 words of English, then they can increase their reading speed. Now here's what happens in the classroom. The teacher gets the learners to open the book at the text they're going to read today, or to choose the text that they're going to read. And then on the blackboard, the teacher writes, like that. And this is for minutes, and this is for seconds. And so the teacher says, okay, are you ready? And you wait till the second hand of your watch appears at the top, hits the top, and it says, go. And the learners start reading. And the teacher keeps checking the time. And then after about 30 seconds, the teacher starts pointing to 30 seconds, and 40 seconds, and like this. And when 1 minute is gone, The teacher rubs out 0 and starts pointing like this. And then 1 minute 10, 1 minute 20, and so on. And so, when a learner finishes reading, the learner looks up at the blackboard. And if the learner sees this, what's that? 2 minutes 30 seconds. So they write 2 minutes 30 on a piece of paper. And the teacher is watching, moving through, pointing at the time, until the teacher sees that every learner has now finished reading and has turned over their piece of paper. And so they turn over the piece of paper, then they answer the questions. When they answer the questions, they must not look back at the reading passage. Because you could imagine what happens. You could say, finished? Okay, now I'll answer the questions. You haven't read anything. But when you answer the questions, you look back and you say, I got full marks for comprehension. But the comprehension came after you read the passage because you kept looking back. So the idea is you mustn't look back when you answer the questions. And so the learner then answers the questions, which are on the other side of the page, and then gets the answer sheet and marks the answers themselves, and then puts their score for their speed on a speed graph and puts their comprehension on a comprehension graph. Okay? Now, and then the idea is in another day or so, you do another passage, and you do about 3 a week. And if you do this, going through at least 20 passages over the period of about 7 or 8 weeks, your learners will increase their reading speed by at least 50%, and many of them will double their reading speed. Now, it's possible for you to set a goal for their reading speed. You can say 250 words per minute is a good, respectable reading speed. 300 is a terrific reading speed. It's possible to go faster than 300, but if you go faster than 300, this either means that you are missing some of the information in the text because you're not focusing on almost every word, or you bring a lot of background information to the text so you don't have to focus on every word. But it's possible then to set a goal for the learners to try and reach around about 250 words per minute. And this is possible at all levels of language proficiency. So in the Compass books, you've got 500 level, 1,000 level, 1,500, 2,000 level. There's a course on my website, which is free at the 1,000 level. You can download it, 20 passages at the 1,000 level with questions and graphs. There are other courses you can buy at the 2,000 word level and at the 2,000 word level plus academic word list level, which is around about 2,500 words. So it's possible for learners to become fluent in reading at almost every level of language proficiency, and it's important that they do. Now, here is your problem. Let's see how you cope with this one. That's the speed reading course. Is this course a fluency development course or not? Now, it's not a yes-no question. I'm an academic. You have to write a page explaining why this is a fluency development course. So what I want you to do is to have a chat with your partner and to work out in what ways does this course, and you can look at the example passage in the handout, in what ways does it meet the 4 conditions for fluency development? Now, let me do one for you, one that you won't be able to do from the handout. Now, condition number 2 is easy material. Okay? In the book, which the handout goes with, The Amazing Computer, there are 5 texts about computers. So that means you read one text about computers and you answer the questions, and then the next time you do speed reading, there will be another slightly related text about computers. And so by reading 5 texts on the same topic, you will increase the background knowledge you bring to your reading, and that will make it easy. So my answer would be, for the conditions 1, for the easy material, similar texts on the same topic. Okay. Now, you've got to look through this example